you believe is aligned with your ideas of socialism, you profit from. Don't you think that's
Yes.
just a little distant?
Yes, no, that's literally, okay, see, this is perfect. Thank you for saying this. This is literally the fundamental misunderstanding. Socialism is not about doing things because you're a nice guy. Socialism is just about who is producing the shit and how much more freedom they get.
There is a difference in profiting more from the preaching or the ideas of the socialism, right? It's not like you're making a business, right? And then you're giving
that is a business. What I described to you is a business. What I described to you is a cooperative formation of a corporation.
A percentage of everything that you do in the name of socialism should go towards systems?
Train, you're not understanding. Train, you're not understanding what I'm saying. Train,
okay, continue.
You literally, okay. There are many different ways of democratizing a workplace or democratizing an economic organization of society. One of those, okay, is a cooperative corporation, okay? That is precisely why my producer, who is producing the labor, who's creating part of the podcast, who sets up the Patreon and whatnot, and sets up the cameras, for example, that person is getting 1/3 of the overall revenue, okay? That is inherently a socialist formation. He also has autonomy. He also gets to say, I want to do it on this day. I want to do it on that day. Okay, I want to do the podcast on this day. These are things that we democratically decide. Now, this is a cooperative corporation. That is actually closer to like what is literally socialism, at least in a corporation, a socialist organization of the economy within the corporation, than anything else that you have described. That would be one form or one aspect of democratization of the workplace. Okay? That is actually what you want out of me. I'm already doing that. But if you're talking about like setting up a system or
so how does
whatever
that
you
work
want to call it, charity.
How does that work with Twitch then? So you bring up the podcast. How does that work with Twitch, right? Let's say hypothetically you're making $6 to $10 million from an ad-heavy deal, right? Which if you show that deal, which you can't because you're binded by a contract.
Do you think I should pay my viewers for watching me on
Not
Twitch?
pay your... I'm referring to, you bring the podcast up as 1/3. Are you paying, right, a percentage or something proportional to the millions that you're making off Twitch, right? Is that something you're doing as a socialist, right? Does that carry over to your Twitch? So sure, I believe you for your podcast.
To who? To what?
To editors, to moderators.
Yes.
So you're paying moderators or a head of moderation?
No, not editors and not moderators. I do have a compensation mechanism for my moderators. Okay. It is not one that I often publicize, specifically because I don't want moderators to come on board exclusively because they want to, use this as a job opportunity. There is a compensation mechanism but I don't like talking about it specifically because, like I said, I want moderators to be a part of the community and not necessarily working and not necessarily doing it as labor, which is most of the reason why I try to, as best as I can, maintain all of the other avenues of moderation on my own, whether it be running ads, which, by the way, I should be running at least a middle of the hour ad break and things of that nature.
Wait, let's stop. Everyone, both of you are on your ad deals.
As far as hold on. As far as editors goes, yes, of course, I pay editors directly. I pay editors directly out of. Wait, I don't know what he's. I don't know why he's saying.
I was saying play your minute ad and I'll juice up.
No. Anyway. Listen. As far as payment structures goes for my editors, they are the ones who make their pay. In many instances, they're making more. They are the ones who I routinely have a conversation with, where they're the ones who dictate what their pay is. I'm routinely paying them even more than the value that they're actually generating for the videos that they're creating. And the only way I can subsidize that is because I'm making money off of Twitch. So in a way, yes, I am utilizing Twitch revenue to pay some of my editors.
But not your moderators to the same percentage as, let's say, the podcast to your Twitch, right? So your main income channel is the biggest one, right? And that's the one that's exempt from the from the proportion.
Because not only that, but the reason why this works the way that it does is because there are certain aspects that I want to maintain as far as autonomy goes, as far as the freedom, as far as like no demands made of anybody, because no one is as big as a freak as myself who's gonna fucking sit there for 8 to 10 hours and watch shit. Okay, that is an unreasonable demand to make from people. I don't make that demand from my viewers, and that is precisely the reason why I want my viewers to be invested and interested in doing whatever the fuck they want to. The funny thing is, I know I train is so fucking horny bringing up the mods. Oh, it's probably okay.
Wait, why is it?
Damn, it seems like
so
this topic.
One thing that you need
why
to,
is it? Is it what I pay my mods? Is that why?
Well, I don't know, but one thing that you need to also understand is that, and this is a really good conversation, I brought up a cooperative ownership of the podcast specifically because it's one very unique formation of workplace democracy, because someone in that situation is generating value, right? Someone in that situation is generating value. They're working, they're laboring, right? And instead of a wage compensation in that structure, I'm giving them a percentage of revenue. Now, originally, when the podcast wasn't generating any revenue, I was just paying out of pocket to be like, listen, whatever you want, you know, eventually we will be able to generate revenue, which we are now. And at that point, you'll be able to get a third of that, right? There are certain aspects of it that I want to maintain and make sure that is as ethical as possible, right? In that structure. That is the reason why I brought up the third in the cooperative formation, a third of the revenue in the cooperative formation, is because that is only one element of a pay structure. There are many different ways of doing it, but the one fundamental thing that remains is worker autonomy and people that are generating value getting back what they make, getting back what they add. That is inherently a socialist way of working.
They're getting back what they add, and who determines what they get paid based on what they add?
Well, in that circumstance, there is no perfectly scientific way. I mean, we're getting into the labor theory of value, obviously, but there's no, in my opinion, there's no adequate way of making that assessment, which is why I oftentimes will leave it up to people that are making the demand itself while they're simultaneously generating revenue. Because there are a lot of situations where a venture that you get into is not actually making money, right? And I think people are still generating some sort of value even when they're not actually making money, because even when the business itself is not actually making money, because the business could potentially make money in the future. Okay? Do you understand? Which is why I think it's better off left up to the people that left up to the people that are working in that circumstance.
Yeah, I think the problem is that
by the way, I can't believe the level of interrogation that is happening with my own personal finances or the way I live my life is unimaginable. But the reason why I do it is because it is something that I'm very confident in. Okay, it is something that I'm very confident in the way that I live it, but it is a ridiculous ask. I want people to understand, like, I don't have an issue talking about this shit, but it is fucking wild. Like, not a single streamer has ever been asked this level of fucking detail in any minor thing that they do. Not even motherfucking Trainwrecks, okay? And he gets shit on a lot.
Actually, I've revealed all that.
But it's really frustrating that, like, this is a fundamental thing I believe in and I advocate for and I practice what I fucking preach, and yet motherfuckers still always say that I am actually fake because people cannot comprehend that it could work that way.
It's not that you're fake. It's that there's certain areas that are hypocritical in nature, right? Like there are certain areas where you pick and choose when socialism applies and when capitalism is okay.
No,
yet you
it doesn't.
preach anti-capitalism in every direction.
Okay.
But you retained none of the things that I just told you, Train. Like I just spent the past hour where you peered into like literally the minutia of my operation, looking for like different places, different avenues to strike. I described all of it to you, and you won't give me the dignity. You won't even give me the dignity of like listening, hearing, and processing that information. That's kind of fucked up. It just seems like an ambush at this point.
No. I listened and I processed. And there is
the
areas
reason why people question is because inherently you're a political streamer and you talk about aspects of socialism, and then that's what you preach. It's like saying, yo, dude, why do people ask what stocks a stock streamer has on the stock market and not the Apex streamer? Well, because the guy who plays Apex never talks about stock. You talk a lot about like finance and the means of production and all the money as of course they're going to inquire about where your money is and what you're doing with it to better these systems that you're talking about. I think it's just
not necessarily true. No, the only reason why they do that is to literally look for hypocrisy baiting, and it doesn't even matter. No matter how genuine, no matter how consistent you are, it literally doesn't matter, because ultimately, like in the beginning of this conversation, I had a conversation with Trainwreck about literally something that he believes I did, that I told him I didn't do, and he couldn't bring up any fucking counters to it. Like, he couldn't bring up proof to it, and yet we still left it on a 50-50 split.
Well, for that, I remember
like, that's crazy.
But the point of that was the pattern of behavior, right? And I have a lot of viewers messaging me, they remember exactly that, right? But to bring up a clip regarding passive shit talk or the letting of, to kind of push the narratives, right? I can't provide you with a clip at this time. And even if I couldn't, I remember it happening. So that's why we moved on and we agreed to disagree.
What else do you guys not agree on?
That was just showing a pattern of behavior. But that's not enough for us to not come to a middle ground and say, fuck it. Like,
well, I think...
let's get back to the Will Neff clip, right? So I think you're asking about the Will Neff clip, right? And we kind of went off.
What did you bring up about the charity for Turkey, and how did it come about? Why did you say it? What
just
did
watch
you
the
mean?
clip.
Okay, fair enough. Let's everybody. I'm going to link a clip in the current chat going on over here, and you're gonna click and you're gonna watch it on your own with your community, and then we'll discuss when Train picks up, and not Hasan.
Okay.
And we'll start because it's his clip. I want to give him a chance to explain his own clip. Otherwise, we're gonna get lost.
Where is it? Hold on. You linked it in the
Group chat.
Match a small percentage.
Okay, I gotta pee while this plays. Look at him undermining 50 grand. Like, I'm sorry, I don't have like $700 million from fucking.
If he's peeing, then I'm juicing up. If he's peeing, I'm juicing up.
Gambling sponsorships. Like, that's crazy. The only reason why he just said a small percentage, like 50 grand from my pocket, is like tiny. Like, listen, I don't really talk about this too frequently.
This clip is
goddamn, do motherfuckers always undermine that shit? They don't shut the fuck up about a $1,000 shirt for 700 years.
Yeah,
but the moment that I fucking put 50 grand out of my own goddamn pocket that I fucking believe in, that's a tiny percentage, dog. What the fuck?
Some shit like that.
If you can't shut the fuck up about the $1,000 Gucci shirt,
it was the same thing.
You should be 50 times more vocal about the 50 grand, right? Not once did I ever bring that up. Not once.
Well, I need his reaction too.
When you undermine that, when you make it seem like the infrastructure that we had to create on the back end to ensure that American and foreign fucking donators could very easily dump funds.
Match a small percentage of that yourself, but
look at him undermining 50 grand. Like, I'm sorry, I don't have like $700 million from fucking
where's the one that thing?
crypto gambling sponsorships. Like, that's crazy. He just said a small percentage, like 50 grand from my pocket is like tiny. Like, listen, I don't really talk about this too frequently, but goddamn, do motherfuckers always undermine that shit. They don't shut the fuck up about a $1,000 shirt for 700 years. But the moment that I fucking put 50 grand out of my own goddamn pocket to something I fucking believe in, that's a tiny percentage, dog. What the fuck? If you can't shut the fuck up about the $1,000 Gucci shirt, you should be... Okay, I'm back. We played it again and again and again on my side, so it probably sucked for my viewers, but hey, it is what it is, okay? I had the fucking pee-pee real bad.
Okay, I'm gonna mute up and I'm gonna play for them so they understand what the context is.
Wait, you waited for this whole time? Why did you just fucking play it? Okay,
Pineapple under the sea, SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob SquarePants, SpongeBob.
Give me a timestamp, please. I need a timestamp from this video. When is it? Sorry, when are you guys talking about this shit?
Are you? Oh, you're looking for the original video. Are you looking for the original video?
I have the video, yeah. I don't have it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the.
I don't have it. I don't know who Train's talking to right now.
I was talking to myself. Sorry, bro.
Yo, I don't have the link on the left's VOD. You have to explain it. You have to give it to me. All I have is Hasan's initial reaction to it. Whatever. Because yeah.
Anyway,
this is important. This is one of the main topics we want to talk about, though.
Okay. All right. Let's do it. Let's address this as well.
Well, I think it is because
there's really nothing to address.
I don't know. I don't know if there's anything to address either, but whatever.
Yeah. There's really nothing to address because, like, listen.
Move on then. I don't give a fuck.
Here's what there was to ask. So, like, I think you got a little angry at a certain clip instead of watching the entire thing, which maybe is understandable since you get a lot of heat in that department. But I think what's important to come on, bro. They're like, what are you?
He's not gonna moderate anyway. Just go on. Just
we take a 2.5 minute fucking break, and now he gets up.
Bro,
we all get back from our
what,
2.5 minute break, and he just gets up now.
He's having a toenail break. Just go on. It doesn't matter. He was not gonna moderate anyway.
You gotta see. You know how nasty that is, chewing on your toenails.
Yes,
you know how putrid that is.
I know. I do know. Yes. Okay. Go on. You were talking to Will. As far as I understand, you were talking to Will about I don't know what you were talking to Will about actually, but you were talking to Will about some shit, and I was going through I think I don't know why you brought me up.
No, let's pull up the Will. Did he delete the VOD? Is it there?
I don't know. I'm sure that it's probably on YouTube though.
No, it's got to be there. Because believe me, the initial intention wasn't to get into. Oh, right here. I got it. Watch full video. Fantastic. You know, it's crazy. I thought the podcast with you two came after your podcast with H3.
No. I originally had a podcast with him.
It's actually a really good podcast. That's why I joined initially.
I had a podcast with him, and then I had another podcast with H3 after, and we left our production company that was doing the podcast for us and built our own. And it was much better. You know, more autonomy for us and not another company taking a percentage off the tippy top. You know this, you do Kick. Kick is like closer, I guess, to socialism in some ways and it's not socialism still, of course, but it is technically closer to a better system than Twitch is because it gives more of a revenue that the users generate, that the streamers generate than Twitch does. It's about the distribution of value and the distribution of profit and how much of that can be given back to the people that are generating that value and that profit.
So there is the video. It starts at 58:36. I think it's important to watch the context of the entire thing because by no means was
we can't be watching a whole video. I will take your
it's like it's maximum like I don't even know like what would that be like 4 minutes? I'm just like the context. Bro, the context matters here. Like you took like 3 seconds of what I said that he asked me a question and I answered. You took that 3 second part and you flipped the fuck out.
Well, you're here. Just explain what you were doing, and I will 100% believe you. I don't even care.
I will. I'm gonna grab my juice.
Juice up again. He uses overtime lifeline juice up. I'll use mine. I'm gonna wash my hands. What the fuck is
this? This is crazy. This is actually mad. Okay. All right.
Listen, I didn't have any juice left. Okay, I didn't have any juice left, so I had to order some juice.
I don't know what the fuck's happening.
I didn't have any juice left, so I had to order some juice. Do you understand? My juice ran out, so I had to order juice. You understand me? A delivery was made.
You know, I believe that buying designer clothes is socialism. Why? Because people that are rich are dumb as fuck and they should be scammed. And I partake in self-scamming and buying
I do agree that we are dumb as fuck.
It goes back into the economy.
I do agree that
we're into the economy.
I do agree that we're dumb as fuck, and I do agree that we make dumb purchases. I don't think that has anything to do with socialism one way or the other, but But I like your meme about it. You're right. I don't know. I don't know what else to. I don't know what else to talk about here. I mean, so we got.
Okay.
Okay.
We're back.
All right.
Access.
Train, give me your assessment of what happened and just tell it to me. And I'll take your word at face value. We don't need to watch the whole thing.
Well, to be honest, in this situation, we just need to see. Bro, we should watch this context. It's so important. Hold on. Let me watch it at least.
You juice up for 2 minutes. We can watch it when we're gonna.
Okay, watch it. Oh, bro, I gotta say this, Hasan. I gotta say this, bro. I told Will this on that same day, right? This is gonna sound wild to bring up now after all of our talks, but you and Will need to switch. Like you've already done it, but you and Will need to swap, right? Like Will needs to bring the long hair back, and you need to stay short hair, bro. Like
yeah, I agree. I do agree. I think Will looked a lot better with long hair, but he doesn't like it. He likes the short hair.
Really? Oh, damn! I wish I would have known that before I told him what I told him. Fuck, that's unfortunate.
I do think he looks real sexy. I mean, he still looks sexy in my opinion, but I think he looked even sexier with long hair.
Yeah, the long hair was like a beast look. You know, it was like Beauty and the Beast, which I guess, you know, anyways, whatever. But yeah, I'm very, you know, one thing aside, I will say this, and you could find it in my streams. Even during the time where we have disconnect, hey, as soon as you got that haircut, you know what I'm saying?
What are you talking about? I'm watching the clip, yo.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Okay, X will be the referee.
Okay. Let me further juice up here. I got to close the blind so you don't see the reaction. Bro, I had to hit this crazy ass sports bet. This shit's wild. Oh my God.
Dead air? Yeah, I know. I'll use this as an opportunity to talk to you guys now that I'm muted. So for many of you who are wondering, banging your head against the wall saying, Hasan, why in the ever-loving sweet Jesus fuck are you doing this? The reason why I'm doing this is...
I watched the clip, guys. Yo, is he gone again?
He's gone, but what is it? Okay, describe to me what the clip is.
There's not much. Okay, there's not much to it. There's like nothing.
So I think the importance of you watching it was to show that, like, I think he took a small couple seconds of the clip and kind of got the wrong idea of the context. Like, by no means was like going in there to you know, badmouth you. It was actually the opposite.
So it's Will never brought up the Turkey charity, and it's Train who was gonna make an argument about his initial point about how he wants Hasan to do the systems. But then, since Will,
but like, why are you guys having a conversation about me in general? Like, I don't understand.
Yo, I give context to people. So the context is that So, Will brought up the fact that Hasan raised money for charity for Turkey in the context of Train bring up socialism and how we can do things to further socialism in society. And then what happened then is that Train was going to say that the Turkey thing was crowdfunded, therefore cannot be kind of used as a yo guys. I'm partaking in these socialism systems, whatever.
And let me clarify on that, because this is an important clarification to be completely fair toward Hasan. The effect of what he did is the same as both possible intentions, right? So the effect is a net positive no matter how you look at it, right? So the effect of what you did is a net positive. Do you understand? I want to make that very clear. I think what's being argued is the way certain things that you do, the intention that's being described behind your actions, right? Like, that's what I'm referring to, right? I think a lot of times it's used as a, hey, look, I did this. What a great thing I did. I did this, you know, this is an example of what I preach. This is this. You know, people use this as examples of things you've done. But in reality, a crowd fund with a small percentage matched, especially we get into what you made during the entirety of those 5 streams, I think these are the more genuine ways to bring it up, right? But when it's used to show a intention, I think that's the wrong part in the category of what you're doing. But the net positive from the effect is the same. Therefore, that's why I don't think there's much to talk about here. Does that make any sense? It's the intention that's questionable. And the way it's used as like a credibility is very odd to me. That's the issue. That's why it was brought up.
Wait,
the intention of why you did that, right? A lot of people in your community and yourself use it as like a, yo, I did this, I'm consistent with what I do, blah, 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 right? But I would argue based on, right, it being crowdfunded compared to the part of what you matched relative to what you make and relative to what you made during the streams of doing the charity, that's the part that's questionable. But the effect of the charity is a net positive no matter how you look at it.
Okay, let me just describe something real quick. So first and foremost, dude, for someone who says you hate Reddit, you sound a lot like Redditors, like especially when you're saying this.
I don't go on Reddit.
This is the most Reddit ass, like cynical ass fucking take I could have ever seen in my entire life.
It's not cynical when the intention is being misrepresented.
The intention of why I wanted to set up a charity, set up a fundraiser, a donation portal for the victims of the Turkey-Syria earthquake is because in 1999, when I was living in Istanbul, okay, as a young boy, I survived a very devastating earthquake where 17,000 people died by the most conservative estimate. I know how fucking awful that shit is when a gigantic earthquake impacts a state that is underfunded. My state that I lived in for, the first 18 years of my life. And I also knew that you can't really trust the government in Turkey. Many of the Turkish people will tell you this. So there had to be a way to fund and to give money to specific non-governmental organizations.
I agree.
I knew what the non-governmental organizations were. I went in. I found exactly whichever ones were the best ones by talking to my friends and some knowledge I had over previous earthquakes and natural disasters. And one of the main issues there was that a lot of these organizations, like Ahbap, especially Ahbap, did not have a portal to allow ease of access. Like you couldn't just click on a link and do a drop down, put your fucking information in and just like send dollars to Ahbap directly. So that is why I wanted to set up a fundraiser. Because I knew that
we're not arguing the fundraiser.
So that's the main intention behind why I did what I did.
Yes, and
there wasn't any like secondary reason or anything else.
I'm so tired of this. And then we're gonna do the topic. It gets both become like around the pot. I'm gonna be the devil. I'm gonna fucking say it. Okay, Train meant, yo, bruh, 2 mil is dank. Nobody says 2 mil is not dank. 2 mil is dank. Thank you very much for Turkey. That's very sweet. It was absolutely colossal.
It's a net positive.
50K for somebody like you is a fucking joke, Hasan. It's a joke.
I don't think 50K? There's a disagreement there. I don't think it's a joke. I don't think it's a little amount of money.
Based on your ad incentive deal with Twitch, wouldn't you argue that the days you ran those ads on those days, along with what you made? Don't they add? I mean, didn't you make
when I originally started my contract? I thought it was, but no, you're wrong. You're wrong. No, it's not.
Was it close to that amount?
Insane. No, not even remotely close.
Okay. At the end of the day, listen. I don't want to listen. What you did was phenomenal. The effect was phenomenal. Do you understand?
So, but hold on. This is very important to address.
Yes.
What you're doing right now is not genuine criticism. It's just pocket watching and also undermining something that I did that it wasn't even supposed to. No, hold on. No, that's bullshit. You're just pocket watching and then claiming that it's actually adequate to do so because you claim you're a socialist. No, I already described to you numerous fucking times what socialism is. Charity is not that. Pocket watching like a fucking blue-haired, non-binary Twitter user anarchist and being like, why don't you give all of your money and live in a fucking woodshed is not actually socialism. A lot of dumb motherfuckers on Twitter say that all the time to me, and I yell at them. Just because you're not...
Why is that example the comeback, some extreme rebuttal of...
Because you sound like them, but you look like an ape, so no one thinks that you're like exactly behaving like them. But you are doing that, Train. You got to stop.
Brother, that blue hair. Okay, let's not go to insults.
But they do that. They do that too. They do that. They do that exact same shit that you're doing right now. They do it to Mr. Beast. They do it to me all the fucking time. They, I'm sure, would do it to you if they thought that you were like a person who would like listen and respond to them. You're doing the exact same shit. You are crying like a fucking SJW instead of
crying like an SJW.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. And that is one thing I will not fucking stand for.
No, listen. The effect of the charity is nice. Do you understand? It's a good thing. What you did was phenomenal to crowdfund that. But to push
it's such a disingenuous way to fucking like do an offhanded criticism. Everyone, even the juicers fucking recognize what you're doing right now. You're literally being like, you did a great job, but it was like a little bit. You know, you could have given a lot more money. And maybe you could have, and I'm sure you did. I gave you literally a link for a crypto donation. Yeah. You only gave 50,000. You have like fucking
150,000. Yes.
Okay, well, great. You have a lot more money than I do, so I'm glad that you did that. Even if you gave $10 fucking, I wouldn't care though. Ultimately, because any dollar is good. Okay, any dollar in that circumstance is good.
You preach. Do you understand?
But the only reason why we have ever talked about the charity. The only reason why we ever talked about that is not to like weaponize it and be like, look how good of a guy I am. The only reason why we talked about it because motherfuckers, listen, let me explain. Let me explain.
Does weaponize it. They do, and you allow them to. Okay.
Brother, the only reason why there was any discourse surrounding that was because a bunch of smarmy little fucking dipshits went in and literally went to Speed's chat and were like, it's a scam. It's a scam. The discourse revolving around it. And the reason why Will even brought it up to you was because people literally were saying it's a fucking scam. People were saying I'm pocketing the money.
Was wrong.
And the reason why Will brought that up is because of the unfair amount of criticism that I get that you should be able to as a person who gets a lot of unfair criticism by your...
You would only get criticism because there's inconsistencies in what you donate versus what you preach, right? If you were to show your dashboard for those 5 days you're in the charity, believe me, you yourself would understand those criticisms. Do you understand?
No, it wouldn't.
You don't think
you're
so?
wrong.
You don't think so?
Yes, okay. You're wrong. You're wrong. But not only are you wrong, you're also, not only are you wrong, you're also making a fucking assertion here and demanding certain things or even like implying certain things that would undermine... Not my the amount of money I fucking put into the charity in and of itself, but also like that wasn't even supposed to be. I wasn't intending on putting $50,000 in there. I was intending on making a portal specifically so that we could fucking making a portal specifically so that everyone else from the international community, as everyone fucking pitched in, put together more money than I ever could have, more money than even you could have. Maybe you could have put that much money. You have a lot of money, but ultimately, I created, in your words, a literal fucking system. There you go. So that should be charity and at work. That should be socialism at work. But it's still not enough because it's not enough for you because it's not about me or what I do. It's about how you perceive me.
No, see, once again, this is just mental gymnastics, political bullshit. It's theatrical. Completely theatrical.
Your only intention this time, I've been so charitable to you from the jump. The only reason why we've had this conversation is so that you can try and make me look bad over and over again. I've gone above and beyond trying to describe some. I've gone above and beyond because, like, ultimately, this is good content. I've gone above and beyond describing things to you.
There is no gotcha moments here. We're having a discussion for the things that we disagree on to try and come together. Whether we
come on, Train. I'm not a fucking idiot. Like I'm a dumb guy. I'm not a very smart guy. But I am not that fucking dumb.
Listen, I've responded to you. I've given you very calm statements. This isn't a got you. I'm not going in on you. I'm not talking to.
Bro, you haven't budged an inch, dog. I literally told you I would apologize to you if you could find a clip because I genuinely would be in the wrong and you wouldn't give me that. But you have never, not
Where
a
do you
single
want me to budge an inch?
Not a single fucking concession. Your understanding of socialism is incorrect. I tried to educate you on the matter. You didn't give a shit. I told you examples of
when socialism applies based on where you make the most money and where you don't.
No, but you're still doing it. Your literal example is you. XQC understands what I'm talking about. You have not been charitable at all.
Okay.
Well,
moderation is labor for your core moderator team. Do you understand?
Yes, it is to a certain degree. It is about what you put in. That is the entire point of socialism, if you want to consider that. But you're fucking bringing up moderators right now because you don't give a fuck about anything. You don't give a fuck about anything. You just care about trying to win a fucking argument, Train, and you're not going to win it.
I'm giving you my views, and you're giving me yours. Do you understand? Like, you're getting upset, but we're both just talking, trying to find a middle ground.
This is what if the problem?
No.
What if the problem
I've been so nice to you.
What if the problem is that you both don't have the same definition of what the fuck socialism is?
Well,
we have a dialogue. Okay, when you do philosophy,
Train, read. Okay, let's Google what socialism is. Let's do that.
Break it down multiple pieces. Okay, when you
let's do it.
Let's first finish this.
No. This is important. Let's Google it so it's not me saying it. So it's it's an objective third party definition. Let's do that.
Train says earlier.
No. I don't care what Train says. Just look up the definition of socialism real quick and let's read it and let's talk about whether or not it is actually what I'm talking about or whatever Train thinks it is. I can read it for you if you want, but you can also Google it on your own as well, right? You're looking at it right now on the Wikipedia page. Let's take a look.
My computer is like controlled by somebody else. I feel like somebody's on my computer.
Okay. Socialism is a political philosophy and movement encompassing a range of economic and social systems which are characterized by social ownership of the means of production as opposed to private ownerships. As a term, it describes the economic, political, and social theories and movements associated with the implementations of such systems. Social ownership could be public, it could be community ownership, it could be collective ownership, or it could be a cooperative or employee stock ownership. While no single definition encapsulates the many types of socialism, social ownership is the one common element and is considered left-wing. Is that good?
X?
Yeah, I get it.
Do you think that is closer? Do you think that is closer to what I have described through the many different, as I also mentioned, like the many different types of socialism and different types of socialization structures and how I have chosen to operate?
Yes. And do you understand that the anti-capitalism definitions within the theories of socialism, you preach, yet your entire business model is off of the capitalistic models, no? You decide, you cherry pick and choose which parts of socialism should apply
allowing,
based on your own
giving
models.
Giving the people the freedom to put as much in and also simultaneously take as much back.
They do.
Train, they do. That is entirely antithetical to how capitalist organizations work.
Right.
So when I say, hey,
of the moderators and your Twitch chat, your primary revenue source.
You've made merchandise, right? You've made merchandise.
I am not.
Train?
I don't preach what you preach.
Have
right?
you? Oh, so it's okay. So when you make merchandise made in fucking Bangladesh or whatever, and you take the tidy profit off the tippy top with like some exploited Indonesian child factory laborer that you're drop shipping onto your fucking audience, then that's acceptable because, hey, you never said you were a socialist. How about let's talk about your ethics a little bit? Because considering from where I'm standing, I practice what I fucking preach. You are trying to poke holes in that. You think the moderator angle is an adequate one, so you're going to keep trying to fucking put that down. Go ahead. Tell us about how you make merch. Tell us
brother.
about how much money you get paid from crypto gambling sponsorships.
I talk about
Tell us
it
about
all
the
the
many
time.
people
It's
that have
out
reached
there.
out to you saying, "Hey, Train, I have serious gambling issues. Could you please squeeze some money for me?" And then your reaction to that. Does that take a mental toll on you? We can have that conversation as
I
well.
think people can
Let's
come
turn the
forward on
crosshairs
Twitter
back
and
to
tell
you.
you everything
Let me
about
behave like you do a little bit. And from where
like
I'm
I do.
standing,
I'm not the
I think
one
I have
preaching
a reason to
socialist
do this.
ideals. I'm not the one selling false hope while profiting off of that hope.
Yeah.
and saying,
You're,
well, that's
you're not selling
socialism.
false hope? Yeah, because you said
I'm
what?
not, no.
That gambling is bad? Whoa, book, gambling is bad. Meanwhile, you
Yes.
sit there and you generate hundreds almost of millions of dollars, maybe half of that now because
I get
Bitcoin
paid
is...
for exclusivity. I don't get paid off of
No,
others
totally,
losing.
dude. Totally. Exactly. Also, on top of that, I do wish you well on Kick. I really do,
Thank
because
you.
I want
I
a
appreciate
competitor.
that.
I want a competitor to Twitch because I think that would
Thank
make
you.
the platforms overall
Yes.
better. But make no mistake, ironically, you started off talking about how you hated how much titty streamers or fucking hot tub streamers and the
Yep.
meta was awful. And now you got porn on your platform. Now you got one of your main
Right.
main poster boys at Kick showing porn to minors. So maybe you now recognize the importance of moderation, especially as it pertains to an overall platform.
Moderators
Hold on,
to sin.
wait. Let me respond to that. First of all, me going on rants about titty streamers 4 years ago or however long ago that was.
Your positions have changed?
Oh, so have
No,
H3's
it didn't
positions
change.
changed?
Oh,
Your
no,
podcast
I-
host that spammed the
no,
N-word,
no,
has
I
his
love
position
that.
changed?
I love
Can you
that.
change? Can you change?
Yeah,
Let me
of
ask you
course,
that.
of course. If
Is
your
it only-
positions
is
on
it
titty
only your
streamers have
friends that
changed,
can
that's
change?
wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm
Okay.
glad.
Okay.
But I don't think your positions have changed so much that you
Oh,
think
so
it's okay to show minors
okay.
porn, right? I don't think that's the case, right?
Of course not.
Yo!
That's definitely weird as hell for him to do that. But to
Yeah.
bring it from the
How
point
many
you're
days
bringing
did he
it
get
right
banned
now
for
is
that?
completely
Off of Kick.
disingenuous.
How many days did Aiden Ross get banned off Kick for that?
That's not in my power, but I push for it all the time for these things to
okay.
be bannable.
Okay. No, it's
That's
good.
what I
I
do.
just wanted to know. So you didn't ban him.
Listen,
Did he
if
get
you're
banned?
so innocent in the areas you're innocent,
Did he get banned? Did he get banned off of Kick?
he did not. If
He
you're
didn't even get banned for showing minors porn on Kick. That's crazy.
Showing
You're one of
minors porn.
the co-owners, aren't you? You're like one of the main people that speaks on this.
I'm
yet,
an advisor. Yeah, I'm pushing for.
So you
I'm
didn't
pushing
advise
for these
them to
banning
fucking
rules.
possibly ban the guy for showing porn to minors
I did.
for a little bit?
I advised him to give a 24-hour, and I chewed him out when I called him, and he can confirm this.
Okay. Well, it's great. 24 hours? You think you should get banned only for 24 hours for showing minors porn? If you think do you think Twitch would? How would you react if Twitch literally fucking banned someone for 24 hours only? There have
They
been
banned someone for
instances.
72 hours
There have
for
been
getting
instances where it's 72 hours, and even that's longer. And I'm sure you've advocated against that too. Why is there such a gigantic double standard here?
There isn't a gigantic double standard. Kick has been out for 4 months and is still
So-
in beta.
So
you're representing
you
way
as
you're
an
presenting the
advisor
data
and
is
as like a
disingenuous.
co-owner of a platform can't control Aiden, but you want me to fucking tell my editor what he can and can't say. That's an entirely different point of the
You want me
conversation.
to
But
govern someone that is outside of my purview, regarding my brand and as an advisor to Kick. I don't have that sort of power on Kick. Do you understand?
Okay.
You're filling that.
I don't have that
gap
kind of
because
I don't have that kind of advisor power on Ostonox. I don't think that is adequate to
That's
do
your-
either.
That is
No,
not
I don't.
comparable.
No, I don't.
Really, you don't.
He's a whole ass adult. He's a grown ass adult. He works with other people too when he wants to. I don't have that. I don't
So your
expect
comparison
to have that.
between you and Ostonox, your number one editor and your number one man, is the comparison to streamers that stream on Kick, and compared to me as being an advisory role for Kick.
I think the advice you should have given was maybe a little bit harder than 24 hours. Maybe you should have railed a little bit harder on Kick in the way that you expect us to rail on fucking Twitch
And maybe
to
you should
ban gambling.
And maybe
You have a
should
little bit more control over
and
Kick than we do over Twitch, don't you?
And maybe you should have put a little bit more effort, or the same effort you did for the gambling bans that you do for the small to mid-sized creators on the platform while you sit there having a $10 million+ contract. Why don't you put that on hold and push for the small to mid-sized
I really
creators
love
on
that you
Twitch?
think I have a $10 million+
Amazon,
contract. That'd be fucking awesome. Thank you.
I'm talking about ad incentive deals.
Amazon does not put out flat contracts for
We're not
flat
talking about
amounts
lump sums.
anymore.
I'm talking about the ad incentive heavy deals. If he runs the ads
Even then,
top of the hour like he does, you'll push easily 6 figures plus up to 10 million easily if you do the
I
hours and the ads.
hope, I wish. I mean, that's some wishful thinking. But you know what that reminds me of? At
What
the
does it
top of
remind
the
you
hour, there's a 3-minute ad break. And if you
Yep,
no longer
there
want to
you
see
go.
those ads, you can subscribe. You can use one other thing that I can't tell you what it is, but you know what it is. winky face. Here's the 3-minute ad break now.
Interesting. Yeah.
Hey, listen, you guys are both wrong and right, and you're already in bad faith.
What am I wrong on? Come on, Felix, get out of here.
I mean, okay, you are wrong because you're.
Wait, tell me
Well,
what I'm wrong on.
He's also wrong.
So wrong.
Oh, you're also wrong.
Tell me what. I will address it.
One. Your misunderstanding and purposeful misconstruing of how TOS works and how it is enforced. Somebody has with a track record of how many years of streaming and how many infractions that they've had, right? And what is the nature of the infractions and the extent, and on top of that,
I think the nature of the infraction was pretty aggressive in regards to Aiden.
A significant amount of stuff. Okay, that goes.
Do you think deliberately showing porn to minors, even if it's your first infraction on the platform, deserves longer than 24 hours?
I think the argument that doing anything is for minors is in bad faith. I think.
Okay. Do you think deliberately showing? Do you think deliberate? Sure, fine. Okay. You think that's bad faith? I don't think that's bad faith. They openly stated that they were minors after. But okay, deliberately showing pornographic material to your audience that you know may have actual minors involved in it. Do you think that is worthy, even if it's plus 18? Do you think that's worthy of simply 24 hours?
Well, I think it can be to a certain extent almost illegal. I'm not sure it's illegal to do that. Okay. So then.
So you think it is worthy of longer than 24 hours? Because Train said he advised, which he has a lot more power over Kick, I think, than we do over Twitch. He advised for a 24-hour ban.
Yeah. I would assume that over there, not a lot of infractions have taken place yet, right? I'm playing devil's advocate, right? I don't know how they enforce the TOS. I know what even is the TOS. Yes, there should be a punishment for that, and it's trash. Okay. Are we going to duplicate their TOS how it works over here, how it works over there? I think we're operating in overall bad faith because of the simple thought that you try to call them out for hypocrisy over the TOS, right? When in fact, the discussion over TOS was how it was enforced on a non-consistent manner back in the days when it came down to certain people doing certain things, not getting banned, and overall, right? And it just didn't make sense, right? That was the real problem, is that they said, don't do this, and here's all the limitations, and it would get broken all the time, and it would get away with it because of multiple factors. I'm not going to state because I'm going to get banned. If I speak, I'm banned. Okay?
If I had the power to ban, believe me, a lot of creators on that site would be banned right now.
Like the other guy who copped Dome, on fucking camera, that was crazy too. I mean, I think he got banned for what, 24 hours? I think
that was bad.
Yeah,
yes.
I'm just saying that, like, you know, I
believe me. Listen, what you think moderation should be on Kick, I'm pushing for and advising for. They believe in free platform.
I hope it works, and I hope the clip system works as well. I am excited to see what happens with Kick.
Yeah.
Okay, last thing. I'll play devil's advocate and say.
Or platforming Nazis. I think that's pretty bad too, honestly.
Guys,
but that's
agreed.
just me.
I completely agree.
I will go ahead, okay, and play devil's advocate and say that I think Kick. People had the wrong idea of what the terms of this were because
they did, and I've talked about this many times.
To a colossal way, almost like a 99% of people thought, "Oh, this is what Kick is."
People need to understand there is a difference between freedom of speech and hate speech. Do you understand? There is a major difference there. Hate speech is not allowed. I'm pushing for us to get a moderation team in place to get this removed across the site. Do you understand? This is the issue. A lot of people have come over thinking free speech means hate speech. That is not the case. Do you understand?
Well, that's usually why they do that. It's like a disingenuous way of framing it. Every platform has, even 4chan has like some speech restrictions on even poll. It's a normal part of the process of like regulating any sort of forum or any sort of place where people congregate. But a lot of Nazis will often utilize that as a reason. But I agree, and I think I'm happy that you are against it. I mean, maybe you'll have advice on how many days they should be banned, but you know, that does seem like a good idea.
I agree with you. And yeah,
I think hate speech should never be allowed. But I do sometimes I feel like sometimes people are personally misconstruing what is a freedom of speech to try to extend it to whether it's, oh guys, that's hate speech, ban it.
They pervert freedom of speech to justify their hate. It's disgusting. It's completely disgusting to pervert, like, you know, the boundaries of freedom of speech and to try and justify the use of hate speech. It's completely disgusting, and I see it happen all the time.
Technically, hate speech is protected under free speech, just for the record. In the United States of America, at least, it's just that private platforms oftentimes have a different level of restrictions, which is understandable. Like I said,
Yeah, by hate
Advertisers,
speech, I'm referring to the speech that brings like harm to others.
Violence.
yeah,
Yeah,
that
I
would
mean,
be hate
call
speech
the-
is
call-
part of that.
Call to actions or the pseudo call to actions are really, 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 really bad. I mean, I think everybody can agree on that. That's just fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know if we're gonna actually make any amends here, but one last thing, I briefly alluded to this, was the one condition that I told Felix, and I said this publicly, so maybe you heard about it as well, was whether or not you would apologize for your reaction to my reaction originally to your otherwise relatively vague post about Misgif. I thought that in and of itself was a big messed up thing to do. I had this conversation with XQC as well. The reality of the situation is that, like, part of the reason why I at least even began to forgive XQC was because he apologized for it. And he thought that it was, he said in that process some things that he didn't even personally believe in, specifically for trolling or whatnot. But I did think, are you there?
Can you leave?
So yeah, that's what I was wondering, if that
So
is
I was
something that's
juicing
gonna
up while
happen.
sitting here.
The wrong order, you dipshit fuck.
Let me guess. I forgot your sauce. Oh, he doesn't have headphones on. Anyways, so correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. This is what I recall from that situation. I was upset that you and Pokey dismissed it without having the facts, and I believe you should have not spoken on it at all until you had further facts. At the very least, remain neutral, say nothing until you gather the facts. But instead, in front of like 60 to 80,000 combined viewers, it was dismissed in that moment, which, in my opinion, creates it creates that kind of biased lens of how people see, her account, right? To me, that was dangerous. So that's why I did what I did. It was more so your initial reaction, which I think I'd assume you would agree. You probably should have said nothing until you gathered more details and facts surrounding the situation. Whereas you kind of just,
If you look at the original video, which I don't want to even rerun this part of the saga again.
Yeah.
You will notice that both Pokey and I were otherwise confused. There was a lot of vague sentiments expressed in that tweet in and of itself, which I think even Destiny said that you were, in his words, a dumb fuck for posting like that, because the tweet in and of itself even basically opens you up for slander, considering that you had stated that there was multiple sexual assaults that possibly Misgif himself engaged in. Like it lent itself to so much. It lent itself to so much confusion in that situation that it was, I think, reasonable for someone like myself to read that, given the context, given how at the time people were railing against gambling, Misgif included, that it seemed like you were retaliating with vague accusations that were criminal. And you said blackmail was involved as well. I don't know if there was any proof ever shown of that as well. Not making any assertions on that beyond this, but I think that I'm not even excusing Misgif or any way. We've talked about it endlessly, but at least I think my interpretation on that was relatively charitable. However, your privately recorded phone conversations and your elation at the fact that a sexual assault victim bringing my name up in that confusion, that stuck with me.
Did your name
over the course of many years, you've said I was, leading the charge against you and shitting on you about React videos and whatnot. All of that stuff, I just kind of cast aside. I said, fuck it, whatever. He's just trained being a big old goof. It's whatever. Ultimately, it'll be fine. But what I cannot forget is how excited you were, particularly when a sexual assault victim brought up my name and how I had originally reacted to her twit longer, which I now know was written differently. That is very hurtful. I know that a lot of people watch us and think we're fucking characters, playing a reality TV show. But that was genuinely a fucked up thing that I think you did, which was my first and primary thing that I wanted to talk to you about.
So what you're referring to is what I brought up originally. If I recall, I said that I had an issue with the way you initially reacted to it, and you should have said nothing until you gathered more details and facts. That's what I recall saying about you, right?
There's a bit more than that, I believe. You heavily implied that I was orchestrating a cover-up of you being the champion of, like, women's rights and advocating for someone who was victimized in this circumstance, even though my reaction literally was nothing. It was confusion, which was the reaction I think shared universally almost. So much so that, like I said, people who are ostensibly on your side have criticized you for the way you delivered this otherwise incredibly sensitive information. And not only that, but also, it was very vague. It was so vague that it could even, put you up for possible slander.
Right.
And then you also reacted in the private phone call with elation as well. I personally, in that moment, said, I don't want to say anything on this before I get more additional information. There's more. Oh, fuck. I can't believe I forgot this too. You kept alluding to me and Pokimane and how you had nukes. I don't think this is something that a person who is a particularly kind individual, a welcoming individual, someone who, believes in, like, fostering a community would do. I don't think that nukes, from what I understand, even, again, someone who doesn't even like me all that much, Destiny, brought to you and said, do not fucking use this because it is literally slanderous and completely false. There's no evidence of it. And when more evidence was presented, it was openly described as false.
I agreed with Destiny.
I want to know. Yeah,
I agree with on.
Yeah.
On
Why did you bring up the potential of nukes in this circumstance?
I wasn't referring
against both
to
me
that.
and Pokimane as well.
I wasn't referring to that thing that you're talking about. Believe me, I was on the same page with Destiny. Do you understand? Listen, if I believed in that would have came up. It didn't for a reason. You understand? I don't let Destiny advise what I say and what I don't say, right? I would have said it if I believed in it. I didn't say it because I didn't think there was merit to it, or at the very least, there wasn't enough information to corroborate it. Therefore, it'd be disingenuous to go off on that, right? And that's why I did not.
Do you think any of these things, whether it's possibly implementing me in the cover up of a sexual assault, or looking for nukes in this particular matter, warrants an apology?
Yes, I don't believe you tried covering up a sexual assault. If anything I said implied that, then yes, I apologize. What I do stand by, though, is when I said I believe your initial reaction should have been to say nothing. If you were confused, you should have said nothing until you gathered the correct information. That, I think, is a reasonable take. But yes, my behavior in the call, when it became about me and you personally, that was inappropriate on my end, and I do apologize for that. That was very irrational of me. I made it about me and you. That part, I apologize about. That was inappropriate.
Thank you, Trainer. I appreciate that. Do you appreciate that, Hasan?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So that part I can see eye to eye with you on my behavior in the call, and I was like, for you, right? That's inappropriate. It has nothing to do with you or me, right? That was insensitive and inappropriate. So that part,
also on top of that, my original reaction was that this is sensitive matters. I have a policy usually to never cover sensitive matters immediately as soon as it happens. This happens all the time. I cover the news pretty much 24/7. And for that reason, we even will often block certain terms because people keep bringing it up, whether it be a mass shooting or whether it be something as serious as a sexual assault accusation within the community. This is precisely why I reacted the way I did. Not sure what your expectation of me was in my original reaction, just to go,
I think it was the reaction with Pokey, right? It was just that initial reaction of kind of dismissing. That was what I was referring to. But when you later went and said what you just said, that is more appropriate, right?
Okay. What I'm trying to say is that the initial reaction wasn't either neutral or understanding. is more towards the other side. And he says that sometimes when a big platform happens, is that things snowball and will kind of like, even if it's a small word or a small gesture, it takes like a second. It can have repercussions that are of size. I think that's what he means by that, right? Right?
Oh, you're talking to me? Yes.
Oh.
For the initial reaction, your second, right? The second thing you said about how you want to get all the information, you don't want to go over the sensitive topic and give the wrong, ideas. That is the appropriate way to go about it. So you're,
that is what I did.
The second attempt was very good. Yes.
It's not a second attempt. It was like literally what you